Good morning, guys. It's Monday morning, and Miss Jackson and I are back together again. It seems like it's been a little while, so we're happy to be here today.
Yes, with a new mentor text.
A new mentor text, and we love this story. And you should have already listened to the story. And in case you haven't, you'll have to go back and watch the video, either of our live meeting recording from this morning or the YouTube video. So you can kind of choose. We'll have a couple of options up there for you. So we're going to get down to it. Today, we're going to talk about two things, Miss Jackson.
Two. I'm ready. I'm
Are you ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
The first thing we're going to talk about is a review from last week. We spent a lot of time on theme, and Miss Jackson and I were talking that we are still struggling with that.
It's hard.
We told you.
It's even hard for our 5th grade students. It's something we need to practice with every text for sure.
We need to practice a lot. So our first skill that we're going to try to do here is, this is a big old long whole bunch of things, but it just basically says that by the end of this year that you are going to be able to read and think about 4th grade level text. And to read and think about that text, we have a lot of things to consider, one of those being theme. So when we take, theme. We're going to think
The
about
message for
theme.
me.
The message.
That's what we need to remember every
for
time.
me.
The message for me.
That's
That is
what-
the author's message for you.
And that's what we were working on last week. But I wanted to talk about summarizing, because what I found in going over your work throughout the week is that you all were wanting to summarize instead of telling me the theme.
They're overachievers.
They are. They are. They were ahead of the game.
If you're summarizing and all you needed was the theme, you guys are awesome.
Right. So we're going to reel it in, and we're going to show you today how the two connect. Because you do have to summarize in order to get to the theme.
So true.
So you have to think about both. So maybe that taught us that we needed to talk about summarizing.
We're always learning right there with you guys.
So when we summarize, there's a really fun song that I've included in today's lessons that you can take a listen to. But when we summarize, we think about a couple of things. It's kind of silly sounding, but we think about somebody, because every story has a somebody. Wanted, because somebody always wants something. But there's always a problem. We've talked about identifying
Something in their way.
Yeah, an obstacle,
Mm-hmm.
a problem. Somebody wanted something, but so they do something about it. And sometimes they have to do more than one thing about it. So then they usually solve it. So it's 5 parts we need to think about. Somebody wanted something, but so then. In our song, I'll do just a little bit.
And you're going to love it.
It is
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Somebody wanted something, but so then what? Somebody wanted something, but so then what?
It'll be stuck in your head. You can sing it at the dinner
It
table
is.
tonight.
You can ask some of our other students that maybe have had Miss Jackson and I before, and they could probably still tell you the song. So that's there for you to listen to, and it's a good way to think about summarizing. So let's summarize our story about Ruby finding her worry.
All right. So somebody, who is the main character in the story?
Who is the main character? You know what? This one's not too hard since it's on our title. So our somebody is Ruby. So Ruby wanted. What did Ruby want? This could sometimes be hard.
What does Ruby want?
Ruby wanted
She wanted to be happy.
to be happy. Yeah,
She wanted to be able to choose joy.
right.
She wanted the colorful pages that we get a little glimpse of before they get
Yes.
gloomy and doomy.
She wanted that color back in her life.
Mm-hmm.
But she couldn't stop thinking about that worry.
That unibrow. I mean, I couldn't stop thinking about it. If I had a unibrow like that, I couldn't
That
stop
would
thinking
haunt
about it
me
either.
too, every day. So, but somebody wanted something, but she couldn't stop thinking about it. So she tried. She tried to ignore
distract
it.
herself.
She tried to find other things. And then finally, she finds a friend. She finds a friend that is able to, that she notices has a worry just like her. And so she talks to that friend Oh, look, we're all the way back here in the book now. Oh, let me fix it.
What we love about when she finds a friend is when Ruby says, he looked
Oh, there it is.
how she felt.
He looked how she felt.
You guys ever had
Oh.
that happen with a friend? He looked how she felt.
I get that.
And that's quite a connection.
That is a huge connection.
It is quite a connection.
I have lots of connections I could make to that.
I know.
So then she talks to her friend, and then she starts to realize that she's not alone in this worrisome state, and she's to find somebody she can talk to about her worry. And guess what happens? Her worry disappears.
Smaller.
And then she finds her happiness again.
It's an awesome book.
That's-
Amazing book.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't met our new superintendent, Miss Kelly Bush, she is our guest reader for Ruby Finds a Worry. Do you think Miss Bush might have some worries right now with
Oh.
all that we're going through?
So many worries.
With our hybrid schedule and just wanting all of the students and her staff to be safe. So we thought Miss Bush would be the perfect person to read this book for us. And we know you'll enjoy listening to her.
Yes, she was a great person to read this to us because it kind of goes to show, kind of like Ruby, we all have worries.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can summarize, that's step one. So I might have messed up by not us starting with step one. We started on step two, which was thinking about the theme. So what I found when I was reading through your work from last week on theme is that a lot of times you wanted to tell me the summary. You wanted to tell me what happened in the passage or what happened in the story and not really tell me then the lesson or the message for me.
That's confusing, Miss Paulson, because is the theme a whole lot of words?
Well, the theme can be
But should it be a whole lot of words?
not a whole lot of words,
Should
not
it be a
sentences.
paragraph?
No,
Yeah.
not sentences.
Yeah, but that's tricky. I can see why that would be confusing.
Right,
Yeah.
one sentence. And should the theme contain a character's name?
Ooh, no.
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 No. Should a theme be about name any specific events from the story?
Is that a message for me that I would get?
No.
I can't
No.
wait for the message from Ruby
Right.
because she's a good one.
Yes.
She is a good
She has a great message for us.
She does.
So we
She
can
does.
think about
Her.
everything that happens. We have to think about the summary to identify the theme. So we have to think, what did Ruby learn? Okay, so I'm thinking, this isn't what I'm writing as my answer to theme. If I were to ask the question, what is the theme of the story? I'm just thinking through it. So first I have to think, okay, well, Ruby, she was really worried. So this is the summary. She was really worried. She had a worry that she couldn't get rid of. She wasn't happy. Then she finds out that she's not alone, and she finds someone she can talk to. And
does she just give up when the worry comes?
Oh,
Does she just go and sit in her gloom and doom, black and gray pages and just?
no, thank goodness.
No,
Right.
she doesn't. Thank goodness.
So then that can lead us to the theme. So what message? What do we learn from Ruby? We can learn a lot of things from Ruby.
One of my favorite words,
Yes.
all from last year with Mr. Mudd. Grit,
Grit.
which leads to perseverance.
She-
Perseverance.
She persevered.
She didn't give up.
She
She didn't go sit in her dark page and not just stop looking for joy.
Right. So a lesson we can say that when we lose our joy, don't give up. Keep looking and you will find your happiness again.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
there's a theme. A theme could also be that if you're never alone,
I love that one.
yeah, you're
I
never
love
alone.
that one.
If
That is a great one.
you just take the time to find someone to talk to, you'll be surprised at how many things you all have in common. That could be a theme.
I love that. Courage.
Courage. It does take a lot of courage to talk
What
to
if she didn't
someone.
have the courage to approach her friend
Right.
that looked how she felt?
Oh.
Yeah.
She might not have ever gotten rid of her worry then. So it takes courage to look a problem in the face and decide to do something about it.
So you notice that Miss Paulson and I, our themes that we were able to get from this book, one word, 2 words tops.
Right.
Certainly not a whole sentence. Now, when Miss Paulson summarized for us, that was amazing.
Right.
That was 2 to 3 sentences each time so that
Right.
we would fully understand.
So you have to think about the big idea, courage. Well, what about courage? It takes courage to conquer your fears. There's the message.
I'm too busy listening to you.
Yeah.
I'm not writing.
I know we never do too well with that. We
No,
always
no.
catch the writing up later.
I love this
So
book
if
so
we
much.
think perseverance, then we think, what do we learn about perseverance? Well, we learn that you keep going, you keep trying, that
Even when it's
eventually,
hard.
even when it's hard, that you'll find your happiness. You'll get the reward in the end. Those are all lessons
What was the one
that
you
we
said
can learn.
about
Courage.
alone?
Alone. You're never alone.
Never alone.
You're never alone.
Never alone. I love that
If you
one.
take the
I love that.
time to share a little bit of yourself,
Yes.
then you'll find that others might be facing the same thing.
Yes. Love that. Awesome. I feel much better about knowing the difference between summarizing and theme.
I do too. I do too.
And I hope you friends do as well.
Yes, I hope you all do as well. So maybe if we look at these two together, and I can ask the question of, can you give me the summary, the somebody wanted something but so of a story, that then you can take the characters out, the events of the story out, and come up with that one lesson or message for me, which is the theme. So that's something we're going to be working on in the upcoming days. Remember, we said theme's never going to go away.
It
It is
doesn't.
such an important skill. We're going to keep looking at it and coming back to it over and over again. Anything else that we need to add?
I think that's great.
You think
I
that's great?
I think you did an awesome job summarizing.
Oh, well, thank you. I loved your ideas on theme.
I love that.
Make it
You're
pretty
summarizing.
too.
I'm going to get caught up on my notes here. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Well, Miss Jackson's going to get caught up on her notes,
Mhm.
and then we're going to come back and on Wednesday with a whole new lesson after we do some practice with theme and summarizing tomorrow.
So,
Yeah.
we got to have our end.
Oh, until we
read again.